Right, as we said, this weekend sees one of the biggest fixtures in world football, isn't it? I think we're going to say that. Definitely. Man United travel to Anfield to take on Liverpool. Of course, we have a Man United fan, we have a Liverpool fan, so we've given Adam a bit of a task this week. Is it fair to say it's a challenging task?
It is,
Joe?
but I mean, Liverpool have lost 3 games in a row, so we might never be able to get the chance to do this again this season. Basically, what we've got today is Paul is going to pitch forward what he feels is Liverpool's strongest 11 this season.
Right now, yeah.
Adam has brought forward what he thinks is Man United's strongest 11 this season. We're going to see how many of the players would realistically get into the Liverpool 11 based on form this season, right? So you don't have to put forward every name if you don't think they should be in the combined 11.
I've got Brian Robson in my list.
All right. I don't know.
Current players.
Current players. I mean, he might well get into our midfield at the moment. So we'll go through player by player, shall we? Start with the goalkeeper.
And important to say, if there's any disagreement, which I think there might be at some stage, Neve will referee this and have the final say as to who goes up for the combined 11. Keepers, Paul?
Well, it can only be Alisson, Becker, right?
Sure. Are you going to put forward a goalkeeper to match Alisson, or are you happy with Alisson?
100% clean sheet record, Saint Lammens, right here. But of course, Alisson's been one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League over the last, 5-10 years maybe. He's been incredible. So yeah, obviously difficult one to make. But if he keeps clean sheet at Anfield, he may change our mind on that one.
How big of a loss is he this weekend, though? Because Alisson's not going to be available injured.
Yeah, look, huge, but equally, Liverpool went out into the market and got themselves a new goalkeeper. And look, Gavin Kelleher would have started this game if he was still at the club. So if you've let him move on, you've got to trust that the guy they've brought in, they must feel has got a higher ceiling. So yeah, Mamardashvili, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring, but Alisson's the absolute one. I'm really pleased that just in honesty's sake, that you've printed out.
Yeah, we've got the whole 11. We've got the whole 11.
Just to clarify, we have got Adam's picked his strongest Man United 11, as we've said. So, but
I think we're all in agreement, aren't we?
You can have it.
Okay.
I'll give you one.
So Neve will do the honours, sticking Alisson there. Let's go to the right-back position.
Who do you think is the strongest Liverpool right-back to start with, Paul?
So this was tough because there's an argument that our best right-back this season isn't the right-back. But I have gone Conor Bradley because I've got a wider plan here. But look, I think Conor Bradley is excellent. I think he struggled a little bit because he started the season injured, but actually the more he plays, the better he's going to get. The ceiling on this kid is incredible.
Ahead of Frimpong?
Yeah, I really like Frimpong. I really, really do. But I just think in terms of that all-round right-back performance, right now, of the two, I'd say Bradley's in better.
Okay.
Are you going to pitch forward Mazraoui?
I think we have to. I think, obviously, if Trent's still at Liverpool, I think there's only one man that's going to be in that right-back position. But I was always uncertain about Frimpong kind of suiting a back four. And I think we're kind of seeing some of those issues he's facing at the moment. I think Conor Bradley is a decent talent, as Paul said, he could improve, he could high ceiling, but I think what you're seeing at the moment is the pressure that comes onto a player when you're no longer the backup and you're the main man. And I think Mazraoui is one of the best bargains Manchester United have had, and I think he's without doubt the best right back here.
Okay, let's bring Neve in then, because there's disagreement in this. You're both putting forward this name. Based on this season, who do you edge towards here? Because this is what we're doing it on.
I think it's difficult. I think that's probably one of the toughest, if not toughest, roles at Liverpool this season, that role. And in my head, I do like Mazraoui, but in my head, do I think Mazraoui would come in and do a better job than Bradley? I'm not sure.
He wouldn't even be the fourth best right back at Liverpool.
I would personally go Conor Bradley out of those.
He's not better than Mazraoui.
You got the deciding vote. Who are you going for?
Oh yeah, Conor Bradley.
Wow. Okay.
It's not
I thought this was my tapping. By the way.
Well,
it's all going downhill very quickly.
That bodes very well, doesn't it?
Let's
Cheers,
go next
Neve.
to right-sided centre back, I think. So this is Konate for you, I would guess.
Ibrahima Konate.
Who has had a bit of a shaky start amongst some Liverpool fans.
Yeah, he's been a little up and down. But actually, when it's in some of the games when it's mattered, I think he's turned up. I think in terms of like his aerial dominance, Liverpool are facing more long balls than they've ever had so far this season, and he's been fantastic in that regard. There are games when he's struggled, but actually, I think the one thing I'd say about him is that. So like Crystal Palace, for example, first half he's not great, he has a wobble, but I think he manages to turn that back around the game where there are other centre-halves in similar situations who would just be gone out of the football match. So the fact that he just continues to play as well, the manager obviously trusts him, I think he's really good.
Are you going with
Leny
Yoro?
Yoro. I think Leny Yoro is one of the best young centre-backs in Europe. Absolutely fantastic player. And I think if he was at Liverpool, I think he's starting for them alongside Van Dijk. I think he's cool as a cucumber, great in possession. And yeah, I love Leny Yoro.
Do you feel, Neve, a little bit like it is hard to look really good at Manchester United, especially at the moment, at times? Do you know what I mean? I think
You're supposed to be helping me out.
Really well I think it's true, though.
I think especially in areas like the centre-backs and then also in the midfield as well, that's an area where there seems to be a lot of space for certain players to have to deal with. And I agree with you, I think Leny Yoro is a total talent. And if you think before he came to Manchester United, who he was on the radar and what quality we saw. And so this is a situation where I do wonder, based on form of this season and what they've had to do, I do wonder if you put Leny Yoro in that defence with Van Dijk, I think, I'm thinking, could I squeeze a United player in here?
I think
he doesn't need charity.
No, I don't want charity. Listen, but Leny Yoro, if you had the choice, if you had the money and the choice to buy either of these, I think you're buying Leny Yoro. I genuinely do. I think Konate is fantastic, by the way.
Look, but as much as I think this has impacted his form, there's a good chance Konate is at Real Madrid at the end of the season, whereas Leny Yoro plays for Manchester United.
I think it's a news point, though, in fairness, that he was the club's links with Leny Yoro at that point, and the price tag and his age profile as well. I think you do have to factor that in as well. I think his ceiling is certainly very high.
Neve,
it's up to you.
Make the call.
Leny Yoro.
Okay.
Hey. Come on, Neve.
As your first
one name in. Will
now,
we get a second in the...
I don't think... Without being predictive, I'm guessing you won't get the second name in now, because I'm guessing, as even you will have to concede to Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the best centre-back.
He's been the best centre-back in the Premier
world
League for
right
the
now?
last couple of years. Well, recent years, anyway. I still don't think he's above the Rios and the Terrys of this world, but Virgil van Dijk is an elite centre-back. And as much as I love Ligt, it would be Virgil van Dijk.
Where do you think he ranks in terms of greatest centre-backs in Premier League history?
Virgil van Dijk is the greatest Premier League centre-half of all time.
What are you scoffing at?
He's not. He's just not. It's just recency, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not like it's ability. No, yes, he is, and I think there's an obvious bias that comes with it. And look, Adam can't say that that's the case because the Man United fans won't allow it. And all the Vidic lovers.
I think my brain won't allow it because it's not right.
But in time, when he retires, I think it will be unequivocally accepted.
Okay,
let's get him up. He's an obvious.
I think we know Van Dijk's got to be in there, so let's stick him up. Let's move over to the left-back position, and there's a bit of debate for this one. Adam, you're forcefully holding your magnet up here.
I mean, Kerkez is a really good player. I think last season he was probably the best left-back in the league, or at least one of them. But Paddy Dorgu's been all right for Manchester United, and I think since he's arrived, he has been as reliable as a Manchester United player has been in terms of what he will offer you. But again, I wouldn't mind seeing Kerkez. Yeah, I mean, he's a very good fullback.
What have you made of Kerkez as a start? Because it has, again, there's been question marks, hasn't there, about both the fullback signings and their sort of initial start alive for Liverpool?
Yeah, I think a bit too much has been made of it, really. Okay. I think he's been okay. I wouldn't say we were definitely getting the Kerkez of last season systemically. He doesn't seem to fit quite that way. Robertson's looked better on the ball than him at times. But, yeah, I mean, it's solid, really.
Would you start him this weekend?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Because I think there have been some Liverpool fans that have been asking kind of Robbo's return a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah, no, and look, what a wonderful situation to be in, because, Andy Robertson and Tsimikas battled it out for the longest time, but there was a clear pecking order there. I was a little shocked that Robertson didn't start with the shirt and then have Kerkez win it, because, look, Robertson's just... he's an all-timer, in terms of Premier League left-backs. But no, he's the future, and sometimes you just got to play people into that level.
OK, let's bring Neve in, because this is one that Adam is pushing, or you...
No, I'm happy.
Oh, you happy to see?
Brian and Mbeumo's rubbing his hands together at the thought.
Right, OK.
OK, fine. Let's go to the deep line midfield. Sure.
Yeah, so we're doing 4-3-3 here, so we'll go with the defensive midfielder, holding player first.
I'm not even convinced by this one.
Ugarte.
Why are you not convinced?
He can't pass wind. He's not very good in terms of his distribution of the ball. I think what he is good at, and he showed it at Anfield last season in a 2-2 draw, was in terms of breaking things up and just keeping it simple and getting the ball out there. But far too often, he's let us down. And I still have that memory of him against West Ham falling over and just watching them score. And
Just
for
a
me,
reminder
that was the end of
you're supposed to be bigging him up here because you've selected him in your strongest
I know, I'm
Manchester
sorry.
United 11.
It's because Casemiro can't do 90 minutes.
But are you going? You're conceding this role.
Gravenberch, isn't it? I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, it's Gravenberch. Yeah, you're conceding.
Two great
this role.
arguments, but
Yeah, just a reminder, Adam's not necessarily picking all the United players. It's up to him who he wants to bring to the table, just to reiterate that.
I'm not
You're happy
crazy
to concede on that?
well.
OK.
Yeah.
Gravenberch. Let's move on to the next midfield player. So we've got 3 midfielders. Let's go to the next player, Szoboszlai.
Versus.
Unsurprisingly,
Are you going to pitch Kobbie Mainoo?
I think Kobbie Mainoo, look, I don't think the manager sees it for some weird reason, maybe because of the formation we play. But if we were playing a 4-3-3, which is what we put together here, I think Kobbie Mainoo starts. I think he's one of the best talents in the league. In that midfield area, he can do everything as well in midfield. And I think if he was in that Liverpool squad, I think he'd be starting in the midfield.
you've been very vocal on a lot of, including this programme in the past, about quite simply he has to start for you in your strongest 11.
I think personally, this might sound crazy, but I think he's United's best midfield product from the academy. Paul Scholes started as a forward.
Sorry,
remember?
ever, you think?
Well, in my time watching,
Right.
I'm not going to go back to the years of Duncan Edwards and stuff like that.
Okay.
Obviously, I didn't see those players, but in the Premier League era, you got to remember Paul Scholes started as a striker, so he technically never came through as a midfielder. Got Nicky Butt, Darren Fletcher, who were great professionals, but I don't think they had the ability of this man.
Ooh, massive words. And he also said in there that he would start for Liverpool if he was in your squad, would he?
That's not the case at all. Ahead of who? Like
Any of them.
What do we do? Any of them.
Mate, this boy is a crazy
So
talent.
you think Kobbie Mainoo is the most naturally gifted midfielder that Liverpool or Man United have, just to clarify?
One off.
I get in above Endo.
I mean, that's
That's it.
not even a question.
That's it. No, I like Mainoo. I think he's a good player, but he doesn't even play for Man United. So what are we what are we doing?
And how good has Dominik Szoboszlai been this season in multiple roles?
At right back, by
The
the way.
versatility as well, I think that's worth pointing out because he stood out in multiple roles.
Szoboszlai's been our best player this season, I think. I think
right back.
consistently, he's played centre mid, he's played DM, he's played 10, he's played right back, and he's been brilliant in every single one.
Let's bring Neve in then for this.
Do you agree with Adam that he could get in the starting 11 for Liverpool?
no. I think
Nice one,
don't
Neve.
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I agree that he's a total talent, but I think the two things are that he's a talent, but this is an established Liverpool midfield of players that are at that level, that high level right now. It's not about talent. It's just they're at that level now, and like the level of player that Szoboszlai is and what he brings to a team. Yeah, no, you can't dislodge him.
Okay, let's get him up.
In a year's time, no one will know Szoboszlai's name, but they'll know this man's name.
Get that in late little dig. Next midfielder. Alexis versus Bruno. What have you made of Alexis McAllister's start? Because I've got a few Liverpool friends who haven't maybe been as convinced about Alexis McAllister at the start of this season as they were last year.
Yeah, so we finished the season injured with the idea of getting him ready for pre-season, and it didn't work out that way. So really, what we're finding this season is he's doing his sort of fitness work on the pitch, and I think it struggled. I do think the Chelsea game was probably his best performance of the season, even though that was still pretty inconsistent. But the thing about him, we've got a couple of issues, so I've had to shuffle this around a little bit. There's one notable absence, I think people
Florian
will
Wirtz.
see. Florian
Where
Wirtz.
is Florian?
Because I couldn't. That was a position I was going to lose because there wasn't a super strong case to make for Wirtz. Whereas I'm hopeful that everyone knows Alexis McAllister is brilliant.
So does Wirtz not
£120
start in your
million
strongest
man,
11?
by the way.
He starts in my strongest 11. He doesn't start in one when I have to debate a Manchester United fan.
Clever answer. Can we bring Adam in?
Just done me in there.
What are your thoughts on Paul not selecting Florian Wirtz?
I'm not surprised. I don't think Florian Wirtz has been great. Of course, it's very early days for him. I think Seba Varane was twice the player, but I kind of compare it to when Varane was at Manchester United. Like in the Premier League, he struggled with the intensity and the physicality of it, but then you stuck him in Europe and he looked like the player we all knew Seba Varane was. I think Florian Wirtz is struggling. I think Bruno Fernandes hasn't had a great season, but he's still sticking up numbers. His stats are still very good in terms of chance creation, in terms of winning the ball back and all those kind of things. I think Bruno Fernandes gives you exactly what he's done.
Yeah, I mean, to sort of try and look at it from both perspectives, if you put Bruno into this team with Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, you might see a Bruno that's a bit higher up, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of ability and numbers and talent there. But this is Alexis McAllister, and I think to condense the form down to just a handful of games and not form as in just the year as a whole, I find difficult. And I also think as well, once we start to see Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister play together a bit more consistently in that midfield, and there's a bit more establishment there, I think that this big problem that's being created around Liverpool will be like, oh, is it really that big?
So are you picking
problem?
McAllister?
That's crazy.
I'm personally picking McAllister.
That's crazy, by the way. That's absolutely crazy.
Wow,
Neve,
that's
spoken.
a headline maker.
Hold on a minute. If Bruno Fernandes played for Liverpool and was at Malwood or whatever the hell it's called every single week,
The AXA.
there's no way Alexis McAllister starts ahead of him. I'm sorry, that's just crazy.
Wow, that is a big decision.
That's wild.
Right wing then, we've got obviously Mo Salah. You're pitching Mbeumo. Are you going to pitch Mbeumo to come in over Salah?
Well, I was told it's based on form this season,
It is.
which
It is.
I think Salah's still got a few goals, few assists.
2 goals, 2
But I
assists.
think
2
Brian
goals, 2
Mbeumo
assists, Salah.
has probably been
How
our
many
best
goals
player.
and assists has Mbeumo got?
I don't know.
One
I just
goal.
know he's been
1 goal, 1 assist.
the best player.
But I agree
But
with
he has
you. He might have been our best player.
Just in terms of simple mathematics, is that half as many as Salah?
But what is going on with Salah?
Yes, is the short answer.
What is going on with Salah at the moment?
Look, I think there's the major factor, and I think we have to remember, is that one of his good mates died in the summer. And I think that's having a real impact on him. I think we saw it after Bournemouth. He was incredibly emotional on the pitch at Anfield when he scores the penalty at Burnley. Very, very emotional. And I think he's someone who normally thinks about how he conducts himself and how people, see him. So for that stuff to bleed out, says that's definitely on his mind. And look, and then we get into the normal stuff of tactical stuff. And has Liverpool got a system that totally supports him as a footballer? I'm not entirely sure. And it might just be a case he's 33 and he's maybe starting to wind down a touch. But Salah in inconsistent form this season has still got twice as many goals and assists as in form Brian Mbeumo.
Adam?
Yeah, I can't speak obviously on the grief side of things for Salah. Obviously, we don't know how that's affected him. I imagine it's affected him a lot. But in terms of, I do think the contract has played a little part of that. He signed a new juicy contract, maybe taking a step back a little bit. And obviously, Liverpool have brought in so many forward reinforcements that their attack's probably starting to go down the other side of the pitch, and you're seeing Isak and Ekatike and all those guys getting involved. But I think based off form this season, Brian Mbeumo has been United's best player, and he plays in the same position.
Let's bring Neve in then.
I will say though, being United's best player is not enough to put yourself in the Liverpool team. You know what I mean? Like I agree with that, but it just doesn't. I think I find this idea difficult with form, sort of reducing it down to such a small sample size. And I do.
You said that about Bruno, but his sample size is massive, and he's still. My head's still going.
But it is a little bit. It is a little bit
crazy.
like owning, like your best monopoly, property, isn't it? Like
So are you going for Salah
Neve?
then, Neve?
Yeah, Salah.
Okay, so stick him up, Paul. You're on the board. Let's go to the
This is
left
looking
wing.
bleak for me.
Mazraoui and Bruno should be on there. So
Currently one United player. Should we go left wing next?
Yeah, I think left wing. Gakpo versus Cunha.
Interesting debate. Talk to me about Gakpo, because looking from the outside, he seems to have been a really important part of Liverpool this season. Do you feel he's like one of Liverpool's more underrated players?
You know what? It's so strange with Cody, because I don't think he's been thrilling this season. I think he's been quietly quite good in terms
2
of...
goals, 2 assists, though.
Yeah, exactly. And his underlying numbers as well are pretty good in terms of his creativity. They're basically the best Liverpool have got so far this season. But I don't think anyone's kind of looking at Gakpo and going, he's definitely, he's brilliant, or this is going to be his greatest season. But in terms of that churning upheaval, to have someone who knows it and can come in and just do the job, he's been good. He's not been great, but he has been better than anyone that Manchester United played.
What have you made of Cunha's start to life?
I think he's been interrupted a little bit. I know his pre-season was interrupted, but I think his partner had a kid, and then he was kind of dealing with that situation, and then his pre-season was interrupted. Then he got an injury earlier on in the season. But I think he's shown he's a very talented player. Great in terms of running with the ball, which we don't have many of those at United, beating men and kind of bringing the play up the pitch. But I've been impressed with him, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from him. I think there's a lot more to come from Cunha.
Neve?
I'd like to go with Gakpo, please.
Okay, this brings us nicely on to the final position, striker, who you're bringing to the table. Now, Paul, I'm intrigued to know who you're bringing to the table out of Ekatike and Isak.
You go.
Okay.
Yeah, Ekatike, I love this guy. He's great.
Yeah.
He's come in, and I spent a lot of the summer saying, I'm not sure. I think he might be a little bit undercooked to be making the move to Liverpool and the Premier League. And then he's come in and just laughed his head off and had a great time.
And you start him over Isak?
Yeah, well, look, if we're doing form, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the overriding thing. I think ultimately Isak's being bought as the main man, but if we're looking at this season, I just can't complain with what he's done so far.
£250 million worth of talent is left out of his team, by the way.
I know.
It's a lot of money.
That's how good we are.
How bad they are. Benjamin Sesko, 2-2, so he's kind of hit the ground for United now and started firing a little bit. I think his all-round performance has been decent. I think there was the part against Grimsby where he didn't take the penalty to 10th, and I was like, wait, why is our new number 9 not taking a penalty until 10th? And then obviously it came out, he was feeling a little bit of cramp, but we're starting to see something from him now. He's obviously got huge potential, but that is what it is at the moment, and we've got to wait and see how he develops.
You saw much more of a package of Sesko. His holding,
and I think he's linking up with Mbeumo well as well.
They're a bit closer to him. It helps him a little bit.
Scored in his last 2 as well, hasn't he?
Neve?
Yeah, and that is so right. I think with quite a few of these Man United players that are looking better, you're starting to see bits, but there is still that inconsistency there. And I think that Liverpool in this patch, that I do think is being catastrophised a bit too much here, are still second in the table. And I mean, who won? Grimsby or Manchester United?
Yeah, Grimsby. Let's move on.
No,
Okay, go on.
I don't know what.
Stick him up.
You left Bruno out of the team, so you've already had a shot.
This is my point. My point is, Ekatike, by the way, for me personally, my point is,
Stick him up, Paul.
is I don't think it's outrageous for there to be a lack of Manchester United in there, because in this Liverpool team that are still just 1 point behind Arsenal, to expect a team that's mid-table to be getting lots of players in, I don't understand why you'd expect that.
Bruno Fernandes starts for Liverpool.
Okay, well, they're not going to agree, so let us know what you think. At home. There is confirmation of Adam's task, seeing how many players would get into Liverpool's team. Only one, Leny, Yoro. Let us know what you think of that at home.